Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel right here on Watchbox Reviews to get our best in your inbox on a daily basis. And if you'd like to see more of this watch, check it out with all of its pre-owned friends on thewatchbox.com, the largest online repository of pre-owned watches on the internet with high-resolution images for your desktop, boxes, papers, accessories, and of course pricing for this and all of our pre-owned Omega timepieces. The watch on my wrist is big, beautiful, bold, and a refreshing departure from the norm for the Omega Moonwatch series. We're discussing the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch Co-Axial Chronograph in titanium, 44.25 millimeters, a bit of a quirky measurement, but a good one for a contemporary men's sports watch. It wears well on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It has a little bit more presence than a standard Moonwatch 42, and at the same time the strap makes it highly wearable. 44.25 across the case, not including crown or chronograph pushers. In spite of the somewhat shallower profiled box section sapphire, it's still a fairly thick watch at 16.6 millimeters thick, but manageable from lug to lug at 49.8 millimeters. I always say if your wrist is a smaller male wrist from about 14 to 16.5 centimeters circumference, you want a lug-to-lug span of under 50 millimeters, and this watch delivers that. If you wish to accessorize and buy an OEM or aftermarket replacement strap for the watch, you can get started with a 21 millimeter spacing. The watch will offer many standard-sized options. It is a substantial watch, but not an excessively hefty watch. In hypoallergenic titanium with a sapphire caseback, it sits lightly and comfortably on the wrist. It also features a substantial alligator leather strap with a contrasting stitch in gray, navy blue. You can see on the underside natural calfskin and very supple. In spite of the bolstering, this one has no stiffness to it. It's a new strap, but it feels as though it's been broken in for months. And you can see the condition is outstanding, but the feel is silken. You'll also note that the watch is nicely appointed with a twin trigger titanium folding clasp. Twin trigger so it can't pop open by accident, not friction fit. Titanium for lightness. You'll also note there's a minderless system, so excess strap length gets tucked underneath the clasp rather than running across the strap and requiring minder loops. There are no minder loops on this strap. The timepiece features the classical Moonwatch profile with polished bezels and satin finished flanks. Now grade 5 titanium lends itself to both scratch resistance and lightness. It's also more polishable than grade 2, and that is what is used here. Grade 5 flanking a ceramic blue tachymeter scale. You can note that the tachymeter has a polished rim and it does have a little bit of a cantilever to it, so it will get hung up on dress sleeves, but you should be fine with a jacket, either sport jacket, blazer, or suit jacket to wear this watch. No concerns there, it's just not going to fit under a sleeve of a shirt. You'll also note that the tachymeter, being all blue ceramic, nicely matches the gloss blue lacquer finish of the dial. Now, standard Moonwatch tack is going to be anodized aluminum, so the addition of ceramic here is much appreciated to allow the watch to wear well over the long term without scratches, scuffs, and disfiguring marks. Likewise, a standard Moonwatch has a Hesalite thermoplastic crystal. Here it's sapphire with a box section and a little bit of a domed lip to create some of the distortion effects and the stack height aesthetic of a traditional plexiglass, but again with scratch resistance. The dial upscale and balanced, a twin register design in spite of the fact that it is a tri-register chronograph. You have hours, minutes, and then chronograph seconds at center, constant seconds at 9, and a mono counter scale at 3 o'clock, so you have both hours and chronograph minutes displayed with two superimposed hands to keep the dial rather minimal and historically inspired with the twin register layout. You can see all indices are applied. It is an upscale dial, beautifully rendered. There will be a lume shot, discrete silver on black date disc at 6 o'clock. It anchors the dial nicely, allowing the watch to retain its bilateral symmetry. Handsome and discreet, it's there when you want it, disappears in large part when you do not. You'll also note that the registers for constant seconds and chronograph hours and minutes are slightly dished and protrude to a measurable degree above the plane of the dial to give another focal plane. You can see that the watch is classically designed but modern in its size, and that continues on the caseback where the caliber fills the entirety of the caseback, and in fact due to its relative thickness it has a dramatically domed sapphire that's almost as flamboyant and eccentric as the plexiglass inspired dome on the front of the watch. I find it endearing, and I'm also happy to say that the timepiece in the hand is considerably more water resistant in spite of a push-down crown and a display case back than you'll find on a conventional Moonwatch. Note, 100 meters water resistant rather than the Moonwatch's 50. Okay, what are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at a high-tech modern coaxial chronometer chronograph caliber. That's a lot of alliteration. And you'll note the watch is also tough. SI14 silicone hairspring for anti-magnetism. A full dual-anchored balance bridge. You can see a screw anchoring it on both sides with a free-sprung index for shock resistance. Automatic winding twin mainsprings in series. You can see their barrels underneath the barrel bridge. It's a combination of a long power reserve thanks to the twin barrels, so 60 hours rather than the typical 38 to 42, but also a very even release of torque from minimum wind to maximum wind and back. So the watch is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. Highly accurate, tested for 2 weeks in multiple positions and at different temperatures. The watch, fully cased up, is also a phenomenally precise article of engineering by virtue of Omega's coaxial escapement. Now, this is the tri-level coaxial, beating away at the coaxial-specific 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate. Unlike earlier adaptations of, for example, ETA 2892s or Frederic Piguet 1285s, the 9300 was built as coaxial from the base plate up, so it's both very precise thanks to the George Daniels developed coaxial system and very tough. It is a sports watch. You'll note the column wheel mechanism for selecting the functions of the chronograph moves away visible underneath its skeletonized bridge. The column wheel ensures a crisp, tactily satisfying action. You feel it and you hear it. It also features a lateral clutch, or I should say a vertical clutch, in contrast to a lateral clutch that allows you to engage the chronograph without any jump or stagger to the system. The lateral clutch has play in it and will always jump or stagger when you start its chronograph. The vertical clutch has no play. It simply commences. Now, you'll also note that the watch can be left continuously in operation, the chronograph running full-time if you prefer, and that's because of the vertical clutch, which creates no additional wear, tear, hazard to the movement and does not shorten your maintenance intervals. So by virtue of the vertical clutch, just leave it running. Precise and convenient. Finally, the timepiece does have a number of additional refinements worthy of mention. Pivoting on 54 joules, it's a hacking movement that allows you to stop the seconds and synchronize precisely to a reference time. And there is a time zone functionality, an intermediate setting position, in which you can actually set the hour independently of all other indications, including while the chronograph is running. It doesn't interrupt chronometric precision for the chronograph or the time of day. You can even drive the date disc forward or backwards as you see fit as you cross the international date line with no hazard to the movement. A timepiece chock-a-block with style and technology. This is an outstanding value that preserves most of the original Moonwatch aesthetic while taking the mechanical aspects as well as durability by virtue of ceramic and sapphire well into the realm of the 21st century. You can see and you can own this Moonwatch on our website. And we're back with the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. Not a professional, but a Moonwatch all the same. This one with a glorious blue lacquered dial, ceramic tack, sapphire crystal, and caliber 9300 chronograph. Beautifully blazing by the dark of my light box. See it by the light of day and buy it on our website.